Hi guys and welcome to the video. I'm Annabelle and today we're going to be talking about years abroad. I've been on my year abroad in Paris since about August and I've been working at a couple of companies and having a really amazing time. But I found that before coming here I didn't really know what to expect, and it would have been nice to have a bit more information on what is going to go on once I get to Paris, maybe in the living situation and also working. So today I'm going to be talking to my friend Laura, who's also working here on her year abroad, and she's going to give us a bit of advice and tell us how her experience has been too. So let's go find Laura.
Hey Laura, how are you?
Good.
Good, okay, so you ready to be asked a few questions?
Yes, I am.
That was nice.
Okay, so do you want to give us a little introduction into what you're up to, where are you at uni and everything?
Okay, sure. So my name is Laura and I'm at university in the University of Limerick in Ireland.
Lovely.
I've been in Paris since the end of January and I'm doing an internship with Air France.
Ah, very nice. So how are you finding working?
I like it so far. It can be quite tiring and it wasn't exactly what I expected, but I like it. I like my job.
That's really good. And so why did you choose to work rather than study?
So actually at my university we have the option of doing both, and after this I'll be studying. But I chose to work in France because there was good businesses available, so like Air France is obviously quite a big company. Yeah. I thought that would be interesting. It would be an interesting experience to work in like at such a professional environment. And as well I just thought France would be a nice place to work, and especially Paris as well.
Yeah, definitely. Have you noticed since working at Air France any differences between the attitudes of the French people in the workplace? For example, like a hierarchical difference or like general professionalism or anything? Like, is there any differences between here and Ireland?
So I have noticed the hierarchy more here than in Ireland. Between, let's say, the manager of where I work and people like receptionists or people that do less high up positions, there is quite a big difference in the way they treat each other, I think. You can notice that a lot in the way they use vous with each other, just simple things like that.
Yeah.
As well, some of the French people that I work with aren't particularly efficient when they're working, and I think maybe don't use their time as well as they could.
Yeah, that is definitely something that I've experienced too in my job. There's a lack of efficiency, I think.
There's a lot of coffee breaks and cigarette breaks. So yeah, I think it depends what they're doing, but the attitudes are slightly different.
Yeah. And would you say that there's anything that you've struggled with since getting to Paris, like whether that's in the workplace or in life in general?
I suppose it's quite difficult to balance everything, because when you're working and trying to see such a big city at the same time, it can be quite tiring. I think trying to keep the balance, but apart from that it's been quite a nice transition, I think.
Yeah.
Obviously at the start there were some difficulties with accommodation and just admin and things like that, but since then it's been okay.
Okay, that's really good. And you struggled a bit with admin. Can you elaborate a little bit on that? Has it been particularly difficult since being in Paris?
So one of the most difficult things that actually surprised me was opening a bank account. My bank is Société Générale, and when I had my first meeting with them I bought everything that I needed, but it still took 2 or 3 weeks before my account was opened, and another week before I actually got my card and my PIN code, and online banking as well took another time. So I would say just to start at the very beginning, or else it might be difficult when you're getting paid if you don't have a bank account already. Accommodation was also a bit difficult. So we both use a website called Central Paris Rentals, but there's also other websites you can use. PAP.F4 is one that some of my friends have used.
There's
Accommodation as well.
And of course there's obviously the group on Facebook.
Yeah, or if you have friends, it might be nice that are also coming to Paris or to another city, it might be nice to go with them. It makes things easier. But I would say definitely start in advance, start looking before you come and have an idea of areas that you might be interested in, or kind of a price range, because it can get a bit expensive.
Yeah, definitely. Speaking from personal experience, I definitely struggled with the bank account and the accommodation issue. When I got to Paris, I went to the bank and they were like, oh, you need an address to open a bank account. But I was like, I don't have an address. And then for accommodation, I needed a bank account to get accommodation. So it's just all a big kerfuffle.
Yeah.
But yeah. So moving on to something a bit more lively, what have you found the most rewarding about being in Paris? Is there anything in particular that you found like especially, rewarding?
I think just in general the city of Paris is just so amazing. It's so nice to have the opportunity to get to know it not as a tourist but as someone who actually lives and works here, and that's what I'm really enjoying. That like I obviously have seen all the big sites and it's nice just to get to know other things and other sides of Paris and different areas. That's definitely been interesting for me.
Oh, great. Yeah, I completely agree.
So tell me a little bit about a memorable time that you've had in Paris, maybe something fun that you've done, some bars that you might be able to recommend. Like, what would you say is your most memorable evening or time?
So one of the funnest nights out that I've had here was actually at a gay bar near République called Gibus. And we went there because one of my friends saw an event on Facebook for a Beyonce party, so we decided to go. We didn't really know what we were getting ourselves into, but it ended up being such a good night. It was only €10 to get in, which is quite cheap for Paris, and the music was really, really good. Every fifth or sixth song was a Beyonce or Destiny's Child song, so it was just really, really fun. Everyone was dancing so much. It was just a really, really good night. So it's definitely a good memory that I have, and it was from early on, so it was a nice way to start going out in Paris, I think.
Okay, so for your last question, can you give a piece of advice to future year abroad students? Like, what's one thing that you think would be really useful for people coming on their year abroad to Paris?
Well, we've already mentioned trying to be organised before you come, but as well, another thing that I think is nice is to not get too settled into a routine while you're here. So obviously it can be quite easy to just do some similar things every night, but like I think it's really important to make the most of your time while you're here and to see as much as you can. So just to do different things and to not be afraid of trying new things is definitely a good thing for a year abroad.
That's a really good piece of advice. Like, that's a good one. Yeah. Okay, well, thank you so much, Laura, for speaking to me about your year abroad. It's been such a pleasure speaking to you. Okay, so thank you very much, everyone, for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.